Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host you won't want.
We did it, man. Welcome, Geoff.
man.
Third time on the podcast, Geoff Walker. You may know him from many things, Karaoke Idols. You may know him from the Whiskey Mile. You might know him from a little band called On the Last Day. And oh yeah, what was the other band later?
Again and again.
Again and again. Yes, you might know him from that too. Dude, did you hear today? They made the announcement. The Warped Tour is coming back. Finally.
I did not know that. No, I did not hear that.
Speculation. It's been going on for a few weeks now. Kevin Lyman said he might have an announcement coming up. And here's the announcement. It's going to be 3 weekends, so 2-day festivals.
Okay.
One's in D.C.,
Okay.
one is in Florida, and the other's in Long Beach. And that's all that's on the menu right now.
Interesting.
And right now, no bands announced. And you could buy your 2-day ticket for $150 right now. Tickets on sale Thursday or Friday. So it's 3 dates, weekend festivals. Don't know who's going to be on the lineup. And so, yeah, I don't know, man. A lot of people don't like it. I see a lot of backlash already online.
I don't really like the way that sounds. Although, I mean, it just sounds like When We Were Young Fest. With
That's exactly what I
said. 3
said.
shows instead of one. 3 shows in 3 places instead of 3 shows in 1 place. I mean, it's great that they're bringing back those genres of music. All the sort of punk rock inspired stuff and emo inspired stuff. But I think it's a little weird to not. I mean, Kevin's a smart guy, and he knows the money constraints, and then maybe he's worried about not having enough money to do an actual tour. So, and he's thinking people will pay for destination if it's in like reasonably good places, right?
Yeah.
And those are generally going to be places that are going to be fun during the summer. So I don't know. I kind of get it, and I kind of hate it because it's not here.
Yeah, no, I'm very upset about that. I went to the Warped Tour in 2003. I think it was like 18, and it was at the Wharf in San Francisco. So they had it on. It was cool, like the actual part of the wharf that's like floating on the water, and then some of it was concrete. I got sunburned really bad that day.
Yeah.
And I could remember the bands that played that year. Sum 41, The Used, Glassjaw, Ice-T with Body Count,
I remember
Pennywise, Rancid, Less Than Jake, and a lot of these bands I never even really listened to. This was my first time ever being exposed to them. The 2 bands that I always that stuck with me because they're at the smaller stages. One was From Autumn to Ashes, which that was insane. Like that pit was just insane. And then also Mad Caddies, I remember seeing them. They were pretty good, and that was the first time I saw like ska, like live horns and stuff like that. And then I didn't go again for a really long time. Then after me and my wife got together, we were doing we were going every year, for 2012, 13, 14. We skipped out on 2015 because we got married, but then 16 and 17, and then after that, that was the last year.
It got smaller. I know that it felt like the slow death with the just number of bands and things like that. It's always still quality music, but it was it went from being at the Gorge here to being at I think it was Marymore or something. And not Marymore, but something like that, where it was Green River Amphitheater. That's right.
Yeah. And where's that at? Green River Amphitheater? Is that Auburn or?
It's in Green River, I believe.
Green River. I don't. Don't know the geography, folks.
No, I'm not. I'm not super good with the geography.
He's not from here either.
Yeah.
So.
Even
though he's been here for 20 years.
But it's I don't know. I'm just gonna sound like an idiot to everyone in Washington, but I think it's like pretty even to where we are, like north south. But it's to the west. But I don't know. Fuck me. I don't know.
So, did you go to the Warped Tour before you played on it, or did you play on it like that was your first experience?
Oh, so no, my first experience with Warped Tour was when I lived on the East Coast. So I went to somewhere in Boston, and it was awesome because like on the East Coast.
So what year? I mean, kind of give us an idea what year this.
I think it was like 2000 maybe.
2000. Okay, all right. I do have a DVD of the Warped Tour 2000, so. Kind of a little thing I do. I have this little collection of like punk DVDs, and the reason I started this was because I was finding movies are slowly disappearing, physical media, and they don't show up on streaming because of licensing and rights and stuff like that. So this is something that I always want. I don't want to forget. So go online, go to Amazon, eBay. You can. Google Warped Tour DVDs, and they released one every year for like 7-8 years or something, and I have some of them. So the very first DVD they came out with was, I think, the 2000 edition. And so, but yeah, that was probably the best time to go.
Well, it was new. It was.
It had been running for a few years, so they got some of the kinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was really cool for me was that in the Northeast they were bringing in Northeast bands, which meant like our Warped Tour had Unearth, like which was
wearing a Kill Switch Engage shirt. I know that they played Warped. I think
Warped,
in like 03, maybe 03 or 04.
I think they may have been there in 2000 in Boston because it was like the local. They would always bring in like smaller bands to play the smaller stages, and that's like pretty much who I went to see.
Yeah.
I remember like Thursday was there, even though they're not specifically that local to that area, but they're from Jersey, so it's close enough. Man, who else?
Another Geoff with a G.
Yeah, it's true. Jeff Rickley.
Shout out to him. Good singer.
We're
Good, interesting vocalist.
We're friends on Facebook.
Are you? Nice. Jeff and Jeff.
Talked to him on Facebook. We're friends on Facebook.
Like, he's got one of those. I've never heard a guy's voice like that. Like, he's just got this very unique sound to his
my friend,
pitch.
I remember the first time I played it for one of my friends, he was like, he sounds like Robert Smith. Because it's like,
oh, yeah.
Like
See, I don't. I don't
Yeah.
listen. I never really listen to that stuff. So maybe it's possible. I know a lot of.
I think the tone was there, but
Yeah.
they also called him Tone Jeff, which was really mean.
Oh.
Because he didn't have the greatest pitch, but that didn't matter for that music. It was so raw.
I'll have to let you borrow. I have this DVD. It's called. I wish I could remember. I think it's called like. No, it wasn't When We Were Young, but it was something like that, like some term. And so what it documents like the whole kind of that hardcore scene of the early 2000s in that time period. And so Thursday's one of the bands that's in it, and they cover Midtown is another one.
Midtown was so good.
Yeah, Midtown.
I love
and
Midtown. They're now
There's
Cobra Starship, or at least two.
Yeah,
two of
a
them
lot
are.
of those guys, a lot of those bands, like, and it was it's a documentary, so it was talking about like the underground shows and all that. And so I bet you'll watch it and you'll be like, oh, I played at that venue.
That's
And I
cool.
went there and that, because it was totally East Coast, like, that scene there.
I have all like the Hellfest DVDs from back then.
Yeah, I think I have one of them. Yeah.
Those are shows I used to go to all the time. Yeah.
And then like I have another one. It's like the New England Hardcore and Metal Festival.
I have a couple of those
Yeah.
too. Those were awesome. Those were at the Palladium in Worcester, and that venue was just so good.
It's
I'm
crazy.
sure it's still there. I just haven't been there in a long time.
Sacramento, at the time, growing up, it just wasn't a hotbed for like, alternative style music. Like, even though, like, the Deftones came from Sacramento, they were just kind of like a one-off. And so, I mean, growing up, like, most of the kids that I knew in school, they either listened to hip-hop or country or, mainstream rock, that kind of stuff. I mean, I saw a little bit of it, like, once I started playing music and going to, like, the Bay Area and meeting some of these bands. But it wasn't, it just wasn't what I would call a rock area. And now, I mean, Aftershock is a festival they have in Sacramento.
Aftershock
And
is
it's
amazing.
literally, I think at this point, the biggest rock and metal festival in the U.S. because, like, every year, like, it's like Coachella. Like, it's like, just like we're talking about
Aftershock
Warped
is
Tour,
huge.
how they slowly release the lineup, or they release partial lineup with some mystery, and everybody ends up playing there, and it's just this huge thing. Like, it's crazy how much it's grown, because first time I went was 2014. It was the third year. It was big then, and now, I mean, they've had, like, everybody from Kiss and Metallica and Iron Maiden, and it's just everybody who's ever played a distorted guitar has pretty much been to Aftershock. And they have hip-hop, too, so you can see Tech Nine and Yellow Wolf and all that kind of stuff as well. So, Sacramento, but, now it's...
I always see the lineups for those types of shows, and I'm like, and same thing with when we were young, and this is just me, but, like, it's cool that all those bands are in the same place, but it definitely feels like at a festival, it's like you're running to catch one band. You're definitely missing a band you wanted to see, and you're only seeing a 20-minute set.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not great to enjoy any, like, favorites. It's like getting a medley thrown at your ears. Like, you're just getting a little bit of everything. And when I go see a band, I want to just see them. And I don't know if that's just me or...
Well, I mean, it's partially you, because you're a musician, so you like to see its rawest, most organic form. I've been to a lot of festivals. It's funny. You said Warped. You went to Warped for the first time in 2000. I went to Ozfest in 2000, and that was my second concert, was Ozfest 2000. So my first concert, I saw the band Garbage. I don't know if you remember them,
Dude, they're from here.
Only
partially.
happy when it rains. Dude, she was so hot. Like, I thought when I was younger, I had, like, this picture of Shirley Manson from Rolling Stone on my wall, and so it's pretty gay. But hey, she was hot, so what can I say? But the second concert I went to was Ozfest 2000, and, like, that was Ozzy, Pantera, probably Pantera's last tour, I think, because it was like Dimebag and all that. Godsmack, Disturbed, Static X, like, just like
R.I.P. Wayne.
Yeah, a lot of hardcore bands. And I'm not going to say that punk music is my favorite music in the world, because I love all genres. I think I'd love to see punk bands live, and the reason is, you go to Ozfest, you see all these metal bands, and as a kid, you're a young teenager, these guys are up there, like, they're just larger than life, playing the solos. Girls are lifting their shirts up, That's the time period we're talking about. They're still doing that back then.
Yeah.
Beer, shooting beer out onto the audience, that kind of stuff. And then Ozfest 2001, I saw some bands, and I saw Hatebreed. And Hatebreed was not
crossing over.
Hatebreed was not a metal band.
Yeah, they were a hardcore band.
And they're New England as well.
Yeah.
So, and when these guys came on, like, the reaction of the audience to these guys versus every other band was just night and day. Like, and I was a young kid, so I wanted to do autographs and stuff. So I met the guys, and, like, I was just like, that was the best show I ever seen. Like, I was so just jacked on that show, and that's kind of why I gravitated towards Warped Tour later, just because of the style. The thing about all the different festivals is, you're saying how now they're just kind of a little soulless, and there's just not much. Warped Tour was just its own thing because I don't know, they just had all these different things going on. Had like charity things and had like social causes. In the beginning, it had the
like
skateboarding.
$20.
Yeah.
It was just like crazy.
And just like everything else, like they need to make a profit, they need to pay people, they want to, continue it going on. So yeah, I'm just really skeptical on how it's coming back. But how about so you played Warped Tour?
Yeah, just 1 year. Yeah.
How was that whole experience for you? Because you had done a lot of touring before, but I've heard there's a lot of things out there on the internet and books about how it's so grueling to be out there in the summer.
So I know that like we didn't do like a long period on there at all by any means. Whereas there were
you were not gone for 2 months.
Yeah.
Did a few dates, right?
And I think I've seen and talked to enough of the guys that I got a pretty good understanding why everyone who did Warped Tour that was a smaller band was like, Warped Tour fucking sucks. Like, it was, you played short set, it was, again, like a 20, 25-minute set. And then you'd have to basically wait for all the other trucks to leave before you could leave sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And then, so you'd be the last one out, and you'd have to make that drive, but then you'd have to wait for the trucks to get there anyway because they have to go in before you to get set up. And it's just like, it was grueling, and you parked really far from the venue, and it was like carrying gear really far.
Lack of bathrooms.
Yeah. And it was just like you're just never sleeping. And everyone said never do Warped Tour unless you have a driver.
Yeah.
Because you'll never sleep otherwise.
And I'm guessing you guys didn't have a driver.
Oh, we didn't. Oh, we did not have a driver. No, ever.
And this was again and again, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then same thing. I mean, and on the last day we never had a driver either. But like, it was very like DIY, and Warped Tour, despite its DIY sort of roots, was not DIY friendly toward when we were there in like 2010 and stuff. And yeah, I've just heard from the band members that it was from other bands that I know that it was just like, I'd be like, oh man, it's so great that you guys got like a headlining gig on Warped Tour on one of the smaller stages, and they'd be like, dude, it's awful. We never sleep. We're dying. Like everyone was just like, it's death. So my experience though was very whirlwind, like, because it would happen. We'd get there, we'd just get thrown on stage whenever they decided. It was always weird. We were on the Ernie Ball stage, so it was a small stage.
Yeah. And you get, like the small stages, you get interesting crowds,
we would get sort of like, depending on where the stage was, like at the Gorge, it was in a good spot because we were kind of on the way to a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. So people could like come and check us out. And like, I remember like we played and like Alkaline Trio was watching us, which was like
that's
super
awesome.
cool. And like, Hefe from NoFX was like watching us, and like I got to hang out with him afterwards and talk to him for a minute, and it was just like, that was like, NoFX was like,
they just played their last
cool.
show. They're done.
They've always just played their last.
Well,
show.
this supposedly this
is
is the final. This is it. There's the punk rock museum now in Vegas that Fat Mike is running. There's rumors going around that Fat Records is going to be up for sale, and that maybe.
Well, Fat Records was Fat Mike, literally. So
yeah. I think they said Hopeless Records is trying to buy Fat Records right now.
Well, they're a subsidiary of, or they were a subsidiary of Epitaph for a long time. I I believe
think,
that was a subsidiary of Epitaph.
Yeah.
don't wanna-
I think it started that way.
You know.
I know at the very least he worked for Epitaph first, and then he started.
Yeah, I thought
Fat.
I thought Fat Records was like a spinoff from that.
98% of the people listening to this don't know what we're talking about, but my wife does. So if she does, she's like, "Oh yeah, I know who Fat Mike is." Yeah. So.
When I talk with my girlfriend about this stuff, she's like, "Who? Who?" She knows the bands for sure, but she doesn't know any of the people in them.
Oh yeah, let's see. I'm gonna be seeing Rise Against
Nice.
next month. I'm excited for that. I've seen them a few times, and then I was gonna see them like 2 years ago, and that week canceled due to COVID. One of the guys in the band got COVID, so. And they were playing with Pennywise. It was Rise Against and Pennywise, which, I love them too. And that night, Pennywise, not that night, maybe it was like the day later, they scheduled a last-minute show in Tacoma, and anybody who's a ticket holder can go. And it's like, wow, man, it's like I don't have a babysitter. And this wasn't planned,
It's pretty far from where you're at, too.
Yeah. I mean, I drive all the way there for comedy, So, like you said,
Yeah, we're going to go see Dayseeker and Alpha Wolf.
Yeah.
So that's our next
I saw
show.
that they're coming. Yeah. My wife's listened to them a little bit, but, it's hard to get into a new band when you're older, and especially when you're not driving all the time. Because that, for me, is how I get into music, is just I gotta zone out a little bit and just put it on, and then all of a sudden start banging my head, and I'm like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
When I lived further away from work, I definitely got lots of music time in, and that was great. Got me into new bands a lot, which was cool.
So it's Halloween. I don't think I ever asked you this, but did you have what was when you were growing up, and did you do trick or treating and stuff back in Vermont?
Yeah. We did trick or treating.
How was trick or treating back when you were a kid? Because for me it was great, and I'm a little younger than you, so I imagine it's pretty good for you.
Yeah,
so,
it was still like a thing. It was like watching what it was like in E.T. is a great example.
Yeah.
Where it's like a bunch of kids out
going door to
it's
door.
I lived in even though it's not suburban by any means, it's Vermont, where it's very rural. But I lived in the capital in Montpelier, so we had neighborhoods, and it's basically the whole town was a neighborhood. But still, you go around your neighborhood, and there was pretty much every house was handing out candy, which was super cool.
Yeah.
Nowadays, doesn't seem like it's happening at all, really,
Yeah.
and it's all before dark. We were doing it after dark for sure. It was, yeah.
Well, I have I got a unique situation that's not, it's not the norm, is what they say. Because what's normal and what I see now is some people, they decorate their houses, but there's just not neighborhoods full of houses that are decorated anymore. And some people just don't do the candy thing. They don't hand out candy, or they live in these neighborhoods that they don't want their kids walking around. So what you're seeing is the trunk or treat, where they go to the churches and mall parking lots, and they do that. But my experience is, because of where I live in this neighborhood that's it's a new neighborhood built in the last 5 years in kind of a rural area. And so every year since I've been there, the trick or treating is insane. There's no parking. People from all over, I live in Granite Falls. I don't care. I'll say where I am. People from all over rural Granite Falls come to this neighborhood. People from Snohomish, and you'll see 2,000 people in this neighborhood on Halloween. If the weather's good. If it's bad, like last year, it wasn't that great. But the year before, it was just insane. And we have, it's cool because we have different types of, we have all sorts of different types of people in our neighborhood. And so we have this house of Asian people, and instead of candy, they have these those light up things that you see at parades, the light up necklaces or
nice.
the balloons
That's
and
fun.
stuff. And so they have those, and they they hand those out to
That's
people.
a popular house, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then there's other people that have like, little haunted houses you can walk through, and there are people that are just drinking in their driveway in costume. It's really, at least for now, because I have a kid the age that she is, I'm glad that we're still living in that. I don't even know how long it's going to go on, because as time goes on, I'm sure more people will move out. The tradition will go away. But, yeah, I loved, obviously with these tattoos, I loved Halloween. What were your costumes when you were young? What were some of the costumes you had?
Oh, God. I always think about costumes, and, like, even as a kid, I always wanted to be, like to go really big. And I would, like, dress up as, like, I remember I dressed up one
what's up,
year
man?
as Cable from X-Men.
Oh,
but
man.
Nobody knew who Cable was.
I know. He's my favorite X-Men, so I know who he is.
Yeah, I had, like, the messed up side of my face with, like, all the cool, like, gadgets and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And, like, it was, like...
Yeah, man. I love.
I like my hair was silver.
He was perfect for little boys who weren't into cars or sports, because it's like he was a strong guy, but he had like gadgets. And he was like an anti-hero. He wasn't just like the good guy. Like he was actually pissing some of the X-Men off with some of his stuff that he was doing. And the X-Men figures were so great. What else? You remember some of the other ones?
Multiple years I did Jedi, I think.
Okay. It's an easy one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other ones. Like, again, I'd be like, I would have these ideas of having, like, creating this really cool character costume, and then it would end up, like, just being the worst makeup job because I did it myself. And I don't know. It was, and I would always be so disappointed in me. Like, I don't look at all like the guy I was trying to look like.
Yeah.
And that goes today. Through today, last year I was a hot Cheeto because I couldn't find anything that I wanted to wear.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was awesome. That was a good one.
Yeah, it was just a
hot Cheetos
foam costume that I could throw over my body because I had planned out. I don't even remember what I planned out, but it was like cosplay level stuff, and I never leave myself enough time.
Well, dude, when I was in like the 5th grade, I used to eat a bag of hot Cheetos for lunch. Oh my God.
Damn.
My fingers would be red forever. My mouth would be red. I would be, I'd have the worst stomach ache.
I remember when kids would buy the hot sauce pack or get the hot sauce packets and put them in the regular Cheetos. Before there was no such thing as hot Cheetos, and they would just be like, and they'd be like, try one, and be like, fuck you, I don't want that.
OG.
When I was a kid, I didn't like hot and spicy stuff.
I used to love it, and these days I'm shying away more and more from it's just too much. It's like the weed, man. The weed is too strong, and the peppers are too strong. The peppers will kill you.
I love hot things now, but I don't know. As you get older, you just can't handle them. Like, your body's just like, I don't feel great.
This guy that I work with, he's like, hey, I made some salsa, some jalapeno salsa. You want to try it? Sure. I was like, oh, jalapeno. And I was like, holy cow, this is hot jalapeno.
It's jalapeno.
Let's see. Some of the costumes I had, one year I had my mom make me a scorpion costume for Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That would have been the kind of thing I was into for sure.
That was before you can get one. And so
you could just go and buy one at the Spirit Halloween store or whatever.
Yeah. So I remember she, what's up, man? You want to sit down? You can grab a chair. Ryan Padilla's coming, so I'll have to kick you off when he gets here. But Ryan Padilla? But, yeah, if you want, pull up a chair. Yeah. We need more Hispanics on this podcast, all right?
He's a DEI hire.
We're trying to get the Hispanic vote, okay? There's Harris, there's Trump, and then there's the Comedy Simp podcast. Hey, Casey, what's up, man?
I can rotate out. We can.
No. Yeah. Try to scoot in. You're probably on camera, but I say scoot in, just in case. There is a switch there.
Oh yeah, I should probably.
You want to put that switch on?
Buenas tardes.
Go ahead.
Buenas tardes. Ya empezó la hora de mexicanos.
Wow.
Just playing. Please don't deport my ass.
Hans, yeah, go for it. Applaud. Hans Cisneros
thank
is
you,
joining
thank
us.
Look at that.
Guys, I don't know if you know Jeff. Jeff is our sound man here at the
Good
Whiskey
on me.
Mile.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is Casey. This is Hans. You've seen them both here. You've probably put some introduction music to them. Guys, what's a good introduction? What's a good song to come up to for you guys as a comedian? What would be a because you gotta understand.
You can actually tell me,
Yeah.
like I can.
the song I've been playing. It's Emotional Rescue by
You-
Rolling Stones.
Emotional Rescue. I'm gonna have to. My dad's a big Stones fan, so I'm gonna have to.
It immediately grabs you. Like for an intro song, it has to be good, like right off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's got to be a song with some energy, like right away.
You can't have 10.
Seconds of it.
Yeah.
Man. Part of me is thinking either there's a song by Molotov called Puto, but the sad part is that thing takes a bit to charge up.
Yeah.
Well, I can always find the part in the
Yeah.
song where it's like
Ah.
it's rocking.
Because it just starts off like puto, and it just like it doesn't start off puto. It starts off saying puto in the back, and then the front is like just slowly until everyone's like puto, and we're like ah.
Yeah, I could probably see that on the. I could probably see the waveform, so I can find the spot for you.
But another one is just I guess there's one that I've been down for a lot recently. Has been the Fast and Furious song by Pitbull, where it's like
Oh man, I don't know this one.
Yeah.
the
We are fans of Pitbull, though. Big fans.
man. I don't even know what the
There's
song
a meme
is.
going
Honestly,
around where it's pictures of Pitbull when he had long hair, and
That- that-
he looks completely different, and he looks like a lot more handsome than a bald guy, and like people are like, "What happened? Why did he do this?" I don't know if it's true, but
You start losing your hair, man. You do crazy
Yeah.
things. I can attest to this.
Yeah.
I can understand
Yeah.
that.
Like, I've definitely shaved my head a few times, like bald. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I gotta do something. I've got like a big old bald spot up here, so now I just wear a fucking hat all the time.
yeah, I've done it. So dude, you grew up in Kent, right?
Boom.
What?
I live in Kent.
You
I
live in-
grew up in Mexico.
Did you? Okay,
Yeah.
so when did you come here?
About
What age?
13.
13?
13?
So was
13, 12.
Halloween? Did you celebrate Halloween at all, or?
Both sides.
Yeah.
But then when I was in the South, there was more of a rebellious thing because everyone's like, hey, don't celebrate that. That's the devil's. And over here, I'd just be like, oh, we're actually dressed as the devil. Cool.
Well, we're just talking about costumes. Did you ever have any fun costumes you dressed up as any year? Or what was Halloween in
mean,
Mexico? Where you just going
Honestly,
around just causing ruckus? Just being a crazy young man.
That is the only
out
time
on
I've
the
ever
town.
egged the house.
Oh yeah, we didn't get into any of that yet.
Yeah.
But for sure.
Dude,
No,
I egged
as
a
a-
house one time. Yeah.
As I got into my teen years, man, I was
Yeah.
just like, well, they don't give me candy anymore, so I guess I'll just go find other things to do. And I remember I egged a house, and all I did for the rest of the night was fucking feel so bad. Like, I was just like, oh man, I can't believe I threw an egg at that guy's house.
I was
Even though it
with
like a
these
dude I
kids.
didn't like, I was like, oh.
I was with these dumb kids, and like they had eggs, and it was their whole plan, and I was just with them, and like we literally threw one egg, and then took off and started running.
Why not?
That was it. We were
I'll-
just so scared
I'll
after
join
that. Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Now,
Here we go.
marihuana ahora.
This is already like I'm so glad now I have a whole new audience. I got the Hispanic vote.
No, don't just count me in for that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like I
I'm
said-
a addition helping you get the Hispanic
Actually,
vote. You still gotta earn that right.
I have something. This will be fun. We could work something out here with Hans. Hans has some stuff about Americans and kind of like their drinks and their food and what is it about? Let's break down.
Hey, let's make sure we're doing this right.
Yeah.
Our food.
Our food, yes.
Yes.
Let's
I don't know who you talking about.
let's break down Halloween and why it's ridiculous. All right.
Okay.
So, Halloween started off as a non-Christian holiday. I believe it was Wiccan.
It was like
Wiccan or
it
something
was before
like
Wiccan.
that.
It was, but it was pagan.
Pagan.
Yeah,
It was
pagan,
pagan,
yeah.
You know, it was totally the anti-Christian holiday, and now it's all about pumpkin spice lattes.
Wait, is that just Halloween, or isn't
I
that
guess
just
it's
like
all
the whole
Fall.
month?
That's all fall.
I guess it's
Yeah.
all fall. Look, I guess I'm trying to board fall in general. Like, what is fall in Mexico versus fall up here?
I mean, we just had like recently Day of the Dead, which
Isn't that November? I thought that was November
it's
1st,
kind
isn't
of
it?
it's
There's a many days.
days.
There's
Either-
many deads.
either
in
I'm late
Mexico.
or my Instagram system is really early. I have no idea. I've been getting a lot of posts where people are just showing like the one headshot of the whole funeral, like the whole cemetery, and just people doing the cocoa thing, and I'm like, been there. I don't recall the dates anymore. I know
Oh,
it's
no.
between. Shit, actually, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be at the end of October and the beginning of November.
After October.
Yeah.
It's like
But-
after Halloween.
But I guess some people celebrate it early or
Oh.
just very passionate about it.
Interesting.
Now, what do you think about walking into a Michael's and seeing your culture appropriated with the whole Day of the Dead decoration section? You know,
I'm
like,
just like-
I can go in there. I can get myself a Day of the Dead garland. I can get a Day of the Dead salt and pepper shakers.
Wait,
I can get
is it the Day of the Dead or is it just skulls?
it's like sugar skulls. and that
Because
kind of
like
it's
skulls.
like specifically pretty Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah.
Because I understand that, and part of the Mexican in me is like, what the fuck? And then the other part of me is like, wait, this is just skulls. You can't really appropriate skulls because everyone's got them.
Yeah.
I mean, you can draw some stuff on them, and if you open a casket for any I guess burial, you'll see, oh, that looks like a very ugly skull. Who is that? I have no idea. Some grandmother.
Yeah. I think as a white guy, I'm going to weigh in on this.
Go ahead.
It's
It's
this is
a
really-
commonality for you guys.
It's really
This
You
is-
guys tend to do that a lot.
This is the point of view that we've all been waiting for. As
know.
a
It's
white
the-
guy,
I mean, we knew the white point of view was gonna come eventually.
40 million Christians don't vote in the U.S. Oh my God! Oh, sorry, I just got distracted.
What?
Ah.
Where are you getting
Guys,
this
listen.
stat?
Listen, here at the Comedy Simp podcast, we're watching baseball, we're watching football, and we're keeping up with the political situation.
We're watching a lot of balls happening
Yes.
while questioning whether we have some.
Yes, the balls go wild here at the Whiskey
The balls
Mile.
do go wild, but do they go foul ball? Or is
Hey.
that, can that also be a football thing? Foul ball? I don't know. Is there foul
They
ball
don't have
and
foul
No,
balls,
no.
but they have. I mean, their balls are foul.
Yeah,
balls are
absolutely.
foul? Yeah, fair.
Yeah, some comedians' balls are foul. Holy cow!
That's fair.
Need showers. immediately.
Why?
Hey,
Water is sponsoring this.
I saw a sign out there that said Bishop's Ale House. Is that what this place used to
It
be?
used to be like, and that's what's funny is it's been like 3 things since.
Yeah, there's the Cock and Bull. I know that, and then Whiskey Mile, and pretty soon this is just gonna be Sam's Open Mic, the bar, the live bar.
then.
So
y'all want-
Halloween, my favorite time of the year. Is there any movies growing up that were scary to you that you didn't want to watch?
I mean,
because for us, like, you know, we had our Jason and Freddy Krueger and Chucky, and I don't know, man.
I mean, lots of you guys' movies passed on to our side as well, just because they're just very popular.
Yeah.
But I guess, man, most of the time when I was over there, I was just watching old classic movies. For like, our stuff tend to be a lot more funnier
Yeah.
than anything else, just because we really focus on the funny part. But I mean, we did receive like Chucky and shit like that. So
Yeah, well, and you guys got Guillermo del Toro.
that is
Yeah.
correct.
So
We do have our fear factors in there.
yeah, he's
Orfanado.
yeah, some of his early stuff pretty interesting,
good.
pretty interesting stuff.
He's a weird dude.
Yeah, I think
Hey,
when I was a
that's-
kid, you might not
Just-
know about this. There was this show on HBO back in the day. It was called Tales from the Crypt. don't know if it sounds familiar to you.
Does ring a bell.
So basically, Tales from the Crypt was a comic book back in the 1950s. And then what happened is during that time, there was an issue where parents were very concerned about children reading comic books and seeing the violent images. You've heard the same thing happen over and over again with music, with TV,
That's
with video
a story
games.
of the times.
But they, at the time, they stopped making this, and it was a horror. Basically, what it was a every issue there was this kind of decrepit, zombie-ish, skeleton-looking man, and he would tell a story, and that story was always about somebody who did something bad, but then something bad happened to them. So it was like the Twilight Zone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this guy, this little zombie guy, was so scary
Crypt keeper.
to a kid. And and these shows, they had like nudity. You could see female breasts in them, that kind of stuff. And like I remember my dad. I remember specifically watching like this show with my mom and my dad when I was like 4 years old. And they got divorced. That's all I'm saying. Wasn't necessarily the best choice, but yeah, Tales from the Crypt scared me very much. There was another movie called Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which has kind of seen a resurgence in the last few years. It's not a scary movie whatsoever. I'll send you some links, man.
That sounds like it would be either very scary or very hilarious.
It's funny, but you know, at the time it's different. You know, it's 80s. The 80s had a different style.
Oh, 80s.
Of humor.
Okay, that explains.
Oh yeah, definitely mid to late 80s.
I think the first thing that I saw that was scary all the way through that like terrified me was Alien.
Alien. Yeah, that was a good one.
But
That was indeed.
I used to get scared by like there was like scenes in E.T. that I just didn't like. Like
Really?
they scared me. Like when E.T.'s like screaming in the cornfield or in the field running away or whatever. I'm like, it just like tweaked. It freaked me out, man. I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
I never
that stuff as a kid.
I never been on it, but I watched. This is another dumb thing that I do is I watch a lot of these POVs of like theme park rides. People take cameras on like to Disneyland or all that. This guy's already smiling at me.
I'm just.
Here's the thing.
The concept is hilarious.
The
to me.
reason I started watching it is because I was like curious about these rides. They have these rides in like Dubai and Germany.
Oh, okay, I can see that
And
now.
like I was like, I'm never gonna go on this ride. I want to see what it's like. But then you get sucked into watching stuff from Disneyland and all that. And shit, what was I gonna say? I was losing what I was. I had a good point, and I lost.
Scary
Getting
rides.
scared.
Yeah,
On
getting
rides.
scared on rides. Fuck.
Those really vertical water
You,
slides.
Yeah.
just scared the
you
fuck out
watched
of me.
POVs of scary rides.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's okay. Now we're back. E.T. had a ride at Universal Studios. I
E.T.
never got a
ride.
chance to go on it, but the POV of the ride, there's this scene where, so basically the ride is you're on a bicycle and you're like flying through the woods and all that, and there's a scene in the ride where you go into the woods and all of a sudden like these animatronics with like flashlights are shining at you, and it's like, to me, pretty fucking scary, you know, like it's to me like what you would imagine like cops like you know, a group of cops shining their flashlights at you, and you're just like, I don't know. You guys ever had cops shine their flashlights at you?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have too. Fun stuff. Never been arrested, but got handcuffed once.
Been
So,
arrested.
Yeah. Want to talk about it?
No.
No. He doesn't want to talk about it.
I've been
My
in
name is
jail for a
Hans.
little
You
bit.
can already tell
okay.
that's not happening.
What?
A little bit.
As
meaning, like,
Hans, that's not.
hours.
It's.
Yeah.
I'll get flashed. I'll get all that, but the arrests aren't happening.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a couple run-ins with cops, but nothing bad. But I remember one time, and this is like the most white thing ever. Me and a friend were standing next to this building. So I had a house that it was in this area where it was kind of a mix of commercial and residential. So like we had this house, but on one side was an auto repair shop, and then the other side was the Salvation Army. So we went over to the Salvation Army, me and my friend, and I don't know why, just some dumb shit that kids do. I had this little like film, like a film container, like that you would develop your film in. Like,
yeah.
I had one of those, and I poured bleach in it,
Oh.
and I was trying to light it on fire next to the Salvation Army, and this guy comes up with just a guy, and he's like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And stupidly, I'm like, "Oh, we're just trying to see if this will light on fire." And then all of a sudden, he pulls this walkie-talkie out from like under the door, and he's like, and then these fucking cop cars come up, and they're like questioning me and my friend, like, "What are you doing? This and that. And are you guys part of a gang?" And I'm like, "I have green hair." I was like, "What gang am I in?" Like, I don't know why I was talking shit. And then he's like, "Guys with gangs could have green hair too." I was like, "Okay, all right, cool." And then they ended up like taking our picture. They like took a photo of us, like on like an old digital camera, but nothing ever happened. They never called my mom or anything like that. So
Did they have a badge?
well,
were these real cops, or were they just like predators
They kept
disguised as cops?
look, they had their hands in their pants and they said that they were gonna shoot, but I don't know.
They're gonna shoot a gun.
Yeah. They're going to shoot something. So, yeah, no, that was... Yeah, actually, I did have another time, too, where that same house, we had a dumpster, but it was, like, all the way behind the businesses. And so we cut through the parking lot of the auto shop to throw our garbage in the dumpster. And these cops stopped us, me and a friend, and we're like, "What are you guys doing here?" And we're like throwing away the trash, and they're like, "Oh, well, we got a lot of we heard a lot of break-ins happening recently," and it's just like and at the time I was just like, "Oh, okay," and now I'm like, that's such a generic thing a cop would say, like I've had times where like somebody would knock on your door and they'd be like, "Oh, hey." Yeah, I heard there's been some break-ins lately, so we're just checking. We're just checking to see how everybody's doing. It's like, no, you're just checking to see what's going on in my house. So. But either way, I support the police.
Fuck the police.
That is quite a chain there.
I won't say that. I mean, yes and no. I mean, I support the idea of law enforcement.
Okay.
I do not.
But with the way that it's enforced right now, probably.
I don't
Not
enforce our laws.
not
law
the best.
enforcement.
I only enforce the laws of gravity.
Not the best. Political situation's pretty hot, huh, Hans?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I stopped. I ignored everything. All I care about is nothing. They're all idiots to me, and I'm just like, I just don't like anything that comes out of Orange. At this point, I'm just like, this entire thing is dumb.
Yeah.
Just dumb.
Well,
To me, it's just anything, and I'm sorry to all you like master race fuckers, but fuck Trump and everything he
Agreed.
stands for. I don't care who it is at this point. Like, I'm going to vote for the person that's going to beat him.
Facts. Yeah. Same.
Which I hope is Kamala at this point.
As do I.
well, I think regardless of how you decide to vote, you're in a very, very blue state. So
But
Well,
yeah.
my
Yeah.
vote's not going to go towards anything.
Yeah.
But I still believe in voting. I wish
Vote.
the
If you have the
Electoral College-
ability to vote,
Yeah,
vote.
why
especially
not?
if you live in
Because why
swing
not?
states.
you gotta fight for your right to vote. Oh, that's.
I don't
It's
know
a
how
line
the
from
I don't know
Black
what
Sheep,
the
I don't know.
Black Sheep. I thought that was Beast Boys.
No, it's in the movie Black Sheep with Chris Farley. I don't know if you ever
it's great.
seen this.
It's great.
So there's a movie called. Oh, you would like this.
Oh,
I think you
okay.
would.
I see.
Chris Farley, David Spade made this movie called Black Sheep, where Chris Farley's brother is running to become the governor of Washington State. And so there's a lot of stuff that takes place in Washington. There's a scene on the Space Needle. It's kind of funny. It's
Go
not
up
a
in the
great,
wilderness and
not a
ride
great,
a house
not a great
down a
movie,
hill.
but there's some funny parts.
Fair.
And there's this part where they go to a it's kind of like a political concert, like a concert for his brother who's running.
Wrecked him. Damn near killed him.
And so they have all these like kind of grunge bands and stuff like that, and they're playing. And Chris Farley gets shoved out on stage after smoking a ton of marijuana with a bunch of Jamaicans. And he doesn't know what to say, so he just starts saying the most random stuff. And people are cheering, and he's like, hey, I kind of like this.
Fight. Right. Vote.
It's one small step for man,
I just
one large. I have a dream.
when you were saying that, I thought you were just gonna go. You gotta fight for your right instead of saying party to vote.
Yeah, that's what we said. That's what he says in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he changed it.
Wait,
'Cause
who was first? Was Z first or was
No,
the Beastie Boys
no, the
first?
Beastie Boys were first.
Okay.
It's
Beastie Boys were
just, he's
definitely
so
first.
high in the movie he can't remember what he's saying, so he says something else. That's the
says,
whole
like,
joke.
Yeah, bits and pieces of
This is
pop
Comedy
culture.
101, man.
Oh, dang.
This is where I learn all my stuff. I
Look
don't.
at that.
Why would I pay attention to Adam Tiller and Jay Marks when I can go back and watch Black Sheep? Okay, Gary Busey is in Black Sheep. I mean, oh, and also there's this scene that I've seen memed out a bunch of times where Chris Farley he's trying to get a signal on his cell phone, and he just keeps walking around. He's in the middle of the mountains, and he goes to the top, and he finally is like, hey, I got a signal, and then he falls, and he just, for like 2 minutes straight, he's rolling down this mountain, and it's just like, it just keeps going and going and going, and
I
this is
love
why
when they're the
movies
ones that are trying to catch
this
the
is why
bat,
movies
man.
are failing, all right? Movies are not.
You can't catch a bat with a pot, idiot.
What's the last movie you saw, Hans? Oh,
Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Oh.
Deadpool Wolverine was pretty good.
I wanted
Yeah.
it to be that new Joker movie, but I haven't had a shot at it yet.
Yeah, I don't.
Because everyone has had opinions about it, and I'm like, I'm tired of getting told what other people feel about it. I want to feel my own feelings.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I'm not gonna pay for it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, one can wait until it gets to HBO.
Yeah, I'll wait for it to come out on streaming when I've already paid for it.
It's a weird. I have this weird. I don't know, man. It's like I feel weird that you're taking away and you're not paying. You're taking away from the profitability of the film, but at the same time, it's like, why does all that stuff cost so much money to make? Like, they pay these guys millions of dollars to act in the movie, and then everybody else on the film, they're making like $10,000 to $100,000 for their job too. I mean, and it's like, I don't know.
Welcome to our world of art making.
And then we can go back to Killer Clowns from Outer Space, where guys are just making shit in their garage, filming it. 30 years later, we're still buying the masks at Spirit Halloween.
I mean, don't we have another tornado shark shit?
Oh yeah, I never.
Well, there's like 20 of those. I'm pretty
20.
sure.
Yeah, I've never seen
It's
any.
a concept of the tornado shark that tells me, okay, we will, so long if you make it, we'll buy it. That's the concept I'm rolling with there. I don't know.
Yeah, but their budget is
Zero?
glaringly visibly small.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man.
They're trying
Are
to do a
people
lot of
watching that
CGI.
because they're amazed that they keep making it? They're like, holy
Pretty much.
shit, these guys, okay, they made another movie. Is it like the Spy Kids movie where they kept making them until we were like, holy shit, this dude's making it with his own money? God damn, not bad. I mean, quality's questionable, but for one single dude,
Yeah.
Aren't the spy movies made by someone like?
Spy Kids.
Yeah, it was made by.
Spy. Sorry,
Yeah.
Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
someone who's like actually
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Sin City, El
Yeah.
Mariachi, Once
Oh.
Upon a Time in Mexico, From Dusk Till Dawn.
Desperado.
Yeah, Desperado. See,
Movies that all feature shit from Mexico, but somehow no Spanish.
Yeah. No, there's some.
Well, so he
yeah.
originally made, I believe he originally made Desperado in Spanish, and then they remade it
Ah, okay, I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah, no, there's
mean-
he did a book, like he wrote a book about how he financed the whole thing. It's so crazy because all these guys that I grew up watching, him and Kevin Smith and Quentin Tarantino, they all got all this money together and they filmed. And now all you need is an iPhone and this piece of crap, and you got yourself a hit podcast. That's all I'm saying.
Welcome to the world of the 2020s.
Yeah.
We can make you entertained or at least somewhat bored while you're taking a shit.
Well, the last movie I saw was I saw the Beetlejuice.
Ah, how was that?
I enjoyed it quite a bit. You know,
There's like a lot of throwback.
there is
A movie like that, I'd expect nothing but that.
Yeah.
There's definitely some of that. I am always of the mind of when somebody comes out with a sequel that is many, many years later, it never ends up capturing the same magic. So we're talking about like Dumb and Dumber 2 was one of that's the big one that always comes to mind is that one. But there's, you know, I don't know.
Sometimes
Shit that-
some
Matrix
movies
movie.
yeah, that
don't
I
need a
didn't see it,
sequel.
but the new
They
Matrix
just-
that just came out and.
I think
Sometimes
it's
people just think they need one.
That
Yeah.
one's
I guess.
impossible to recapture the original just because
Well,
it
and
was
the-
such a big twist.
Well, like
and-
Bill and Ted 3 or Clerks 3.
The challenge that I'm realizing is that a lot of these sequels, they're
Beverly Hills Cop.
oh,
Coming to
oh,
America.
technically, I'll at least defend that one in that it had somewhat of an intention to a degree.
I
But
actually didn't see it, so I can't shit on it until I watch it. But
and I watched it once it was free.
yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I can see why a lot of these, I guess, brands are remaking their shit. Just they're thinking I can make a quick buck out of it. But I'm like, to a degree, I can see it. You're trying to give us a secondary point to it. But at times, it just feels like, all right, we're just trying to fill up space so we can make a quick dollar while we're doing something else.
Yeah.
But it's all just questionable.
Well, Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice.
So I watched the
We've only said it twice each.
Yeah. I watched the original movie maybe like a couple months ago. I hadn't seen it for a long time. It's one of those movies I watched growing up, you know, off and on.
Oh, yeah, so much.
It wasn't a favorite, but it was like, oh, I liked it.
I
you
watched
know?
that movie so much.
And
I watched it once. I was like, cool. All right, next.
yeah. Well, this one, one of the things I loved about it was it looked so much different than everything that comes out because there's like hardly any CGI in it. Like pretty much everything is practical. All the sets are built. They're lit. And then there is throwbacks. Absolutely, there's going to be throwbacks, but
No, you gotta feed
it's different.
the
It's
older.
different enough. It's like there are some scenes in that movie that are so weird that it just doesn't like. It just makes it stand out. Like there's a whole scene with Danny DeVito in the movie, and he
Love me
plays
some
a
DeVito.
he plays a character in there. It's great. There's a baby Beetlejuice in the movie. There's a lot more gore than the original one, and then there's some like crazy. There's like a sequence with claymation, like a whole
Ooh.
claymation sequence.
I now
and
have a
stuff.
reason to watch.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different styles of filming in the movie as well. And so the story itself, I mean, it's if you wanted to rate it as like, I don't know, let's say like stories like a C, you know, it's not a great story, but and then they have a couple characters that are just a waste. Like, why was that character even in this movie? But everything else makes up for it. Like, it's just like a fun experience to watch it, and then just like not only like the references to the old movie, but just like random like jokes. You know, like when you would watch The Simpsons or something like that, you would see these little jokes in the background that like you wouldn't see the first time.
All right.
So yeah, it was good.
Praise.
And
Look at
then
that.
I don't even like the movie I saw before that. I don't know, Inside Out 2. You know, like I got a kid. You know, so
Hey, it's wholesome. There's nothing wrong with some wholesome stuff every so often.
I just finished watching season 2 of this show on Netflix called Alice in Borderland, and it's a
yeah, I've seen ads for
Yeah.
it. I like really do want to see
it's
it.
pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a little cheesy in some parts, but it's also extremely violent. I mean, like, there's a scene in the second season where like 5 people are trying to take this person out, and he's just stabbing everybody left and right. And you're just watching the knife enter the person's body and exit and enter and exit, and it's just like so realistic. Like, so if you like that sort of thing,
I do like
the Japanese,
body
man.
horror.
The Japanese have some messed up movies. You know, there's this movie called have you heard of Audition?
No, but I've seen some Japanese indie films to know that they can indeed get a little
Yes.
out there. Shit, one of the scariest ones I ever saw was The Ring.
The Ring, yeah, that's another one. You know, actually,
I like
part
the
of
American
it
Ring.
takes
I'm
place
like one
in
of those people.
Washington.
The
you know?
the American one does.
Yeah, the American one, yeah. Ringu is
In Japan,
Japanese, yeah.
Mm.
But the American one, yeah, there's a scene on a ferry, and this horse jumps off the ferry into the Puget Sound. Like, I remember that.
That was in The Ring 2, I think.
Oh wow,
In The Ring.
this guy's a horror. This guy's an expert over.
The Ring was also. I mean, her apartment's in Seattle. Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all about Seattle.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say the best horror that I've seen recently was I finally watched. Have you seen Talk to Me?
No, talk
Oh,
to me.
God, it's so good.
When did it come out?
I think it came out this year. It's on streaming now, though.
I don't know
It's,
why, but that feels to me like an introvert's horror. Like, it's only scary for everybody who now is like, I'm an
Hey, what's
introvert.
up?
I don't want people
now
talking
you
to me.
have to talk to me.
Hey.
You here for the mic? There's a list right behind you. Yeah. Yeah. This place is. There's like hardly anybody here like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Look at this. It's all coming together.
We're all joining
yeah.
each other.
But yeah, I mean, you know, there's. I still try to keep up with horror movies, but it seems like these days it's just few and far between. We're so busy with comedy, man.
I
We're
know,
just-
right?
Things are just getting crazy. Things are getting hectic around here. We're putting on shows. We're doing stuff. Hans, what are you putting on shows?
Yeah, no, I'm doing Spanish shows.
Yes. With Juan Forno.
No, he has his Que Chiste, that's his brand. Mine is La Santa.
Ah.
His is Latinos, but still speaking English. Mine is Latinos who can't speak English.
And they're a very important part of this community. They're the back.
Do you do it at
they're
like
the backbone.
like a Spanish bar?
Yeah. So far, I've been doing it in mostly Latino-owned venues.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of the way I advertise it to the places when I let them know. I'm like, hey, I'll do it for you, give you some advertise. Yeah, you guys give us a shot at doing a thing here. Everyone wins. We're good. I'm just making it easier mostly because the guys that I got doing my work, unlike a lot of the Latinos that do English stuff, they have experience doing comedy, but they don't have that heavy experience talking in Spanish, where they can't go for too long, or their Spanish stuff isn't as good. The guys who can do it, speak Spanish, they don't have as much experience doing comedy, where it's that now I'm just trying to see where I can balance it out.
Nice.
But it's been all right. It's been a little slow, but I'm again the only son of a gun actually piercing this drill. So
Look
eventually
at this guy
we'll hit the
doing
goal.
things for his community, doing things for comedy. I know what it's like, man.
I know.
It's a grind. Sometimes I want to change the name of this show to Comedy Grind. You know.
I mean, hey, nothing feels more like a grind until you get that ass and right next to you and you're like, I
I gotta go to Tacoma on Monday, and I quite possibly have to go again on Tuesday.
believe in you.
So I don't know if you know, I did the Comedy Voice.
Oh, I was there.
Week 4. Oh yeah, you were there. Oh yeah.
No,
man.
I was there supporting,
Yeah.
not an actual
This guy,
contestant.
yeah. Dude, that was such a rough. That was so.
Oh, I
felt-
saw it. The thing that made me laugh the hardest for a second, for interior-wise, was when they explained and they were honest for a second to all of you, where they're like, we're judging you based on how well you kill, and everyone's like, we want to hear how well you can kill the audience, laughing, and I'm like, well, some of us might kill it ourselves outside in the car.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, it was.
But hey, my kudos to you. I didn't have either guts, time, or all of the above to actually do it, but you did it, and you actually got in very well.
Barely.
Even if by consideration you still got
I
in.
barely got in, yeah. But it was so hard because there are some people.
Oh no, there were some killers out there.
I know some of the people were really good friends with those judges, and I know it's hard for those judges to not
that's
choose
so
those
hard.
people.
Same thing happens with Karaoke Idols, like
Yeah.
seeing the judges, and the judges are like really good friends with the contestants, and it's like I know some of those judges are being brutal to their friends.
Yeah.
But like
They're like,
it
you're a
doesn't
little
matter
pit-
to the
you're
audience
a little
'cause they
pitchy
see
in the
them
third-
they see them come
the
over
third
and give them a
verse.
hug, and they're like, oh, they're gonna make it through. Like
You fell a little
Hey,
flat in the chorus.
I expect that from a judge. It's called if you're gonna make me cry, make your friend cry too.
yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. And I went with Ish. So I picked up Ish.
Oh, nice.
And he went on like number 3, and he had a really good
Did he
set.
get picked up? I forgot.
No.
Ah,
and
damn.
and he had a really good set.
No,
like,
that was good.
I was.
I'm surprised several people didn't get
Yeah.
hit. Like there were some people that had some really good stuff, and I'm like, God damn it! I know it's because of the it's technically
the way
on the
that-
audience that they were judging it by,
Yeah.
but God damn, I'm like that should have been a little better.
Well, the way that they were picking it too was it was tough because
Who can get the
it's
audience
not
alive?
like they would let everybody go and then pick at the end. They were like, if we don't like you, then we're just gonna pass and go to the next one. So they're holding out, hoping that somebody great
Yeah.
is gonna show
I
up.
won't lie. I think the one thing that was interesting
And
there
maybe it was just like
the fact
With the
that
whole live choosing right there, like that's why we do with the idols and other competitions that I've worked on
yeah.
for karaoke. We do at the end, like at the end of the rounds, we'll take the people that the top people, because like someone might have been holding back. One judge might have been holding back the whole time, and maybe they end up holding back the entire time because they didn't see anything that was amazing, and that's okay to do. Your judging style is your judging style.
Wow.
It's like, you know, how much you're adding to the average, you know.
in this one I
So.
kind of think it was a bit of a challenge in that it was kind of like an open mic where the first few people are gonna bomb.
Yeah.
Very likely
because
because
they-
you're just warming up the crowd, and
Yeah.
then the middle one, the crowd's already warmed up to all jokes, and you're gonna get the kill, and at the end they're already tired, so it's like you're trying to get the last remaining bit to the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. And
Bu-
so.
But hey, as open micers, I guess we all understand that shit's gonna hit the fan. Just hope that it doesn't hit anywhere near you.
And it's honestly, I didn't expect to even get picked for the first round, but even then, the whole reason I wanted to go was not even to get picked. It was just like,
Just to
if
get you hit.
anybody who like
Yeah, to
books
have the
shows
experience.
there, if anybody who like works at the comedy club is watching,
Oh yeah, no, I
you
feel
know,
it.
because sometimes you go to those mics and you're like,
Honestly,
whoever the manager is tonight doesn't have any pull in this. Like, why?
That's
you know,
what
like, we're just performing for each other tonight.
that's
Yeah.
absolute, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I was told a while ago, fuck, I remember. I don't recall who said it, but it's you gotta hit every single place. Act like there's someone in there who represents a bigger brand. Cause technically that was for me in my case. Cause
Yeah.
I saw one Latino there who's I was like, I'm pretty sure you're Latino, and I was like, fuck, I could probably get him in my show. I don't know if I'm gonna get him in my thing. It depends on how good his
I
Spanish
love-
is, but
Do you
we
walk
always
up
have
to
a
him?
chance.
Do you walk up to him and say, "Hey, I'm pretty sure you're Latino"?
No, I walked up to him and said something worse. I was like, "Hey, you speak Spanish, right?"
He's
He just looks at me like, "You fucking racist," and I'm like, "Hey, I speak complete Spanish."
and like, "Oh yeah, what's your name?" And you're like,
Fuck.
"Hans."
I'm like, "Don't judge the name. The name is a prototype. I can't get
It's a
deported. It's a whole thing.
It's a prototype.
I'm just here to help you. Don't dick."
This is just a name I'm just gonna hang on to for a while until something better
Oh.
comes. Until I get an upgrade.
One day I'll get the upgrade of Juan, and I'll just be like,
Juan.
"Please welcome Juan Cisneros," and everyone will be like, "Okay, when's Juan coming up? We see a white dude."
I don't know, man. I mean, you got a very unique name, so I always think about branding and stuff like that, and I wouldn't I wouldn't change your name.
Oh
if
no, I
anything.
feel it. Hey, shit, I could be like you're German Mexican who doesn't know German and has never been to Germany and has nothing to do with it.
Plus, there is another Hans that came from Seattle who does comedy.
Technically, there's technically 4 Hanses, 5.
Oh my God, there's too many.
I know, right? I'm collecting all of us.
They all do
It's-
comedy?
Yes, actually,
Oh.
Hans Kim,
Yes.
Hans Hilton. Technically, those are the 2 biggest ones.
I was like, I think that second one's made up. Hans Hilton?
I know. Even I
Is that
I thought.
Paris's brother? Or?
Oh man,
hot.
he's bigger than I think he's bigger than both me and Kim, but I can't tell.
Yeah.
But the other 2 are just kind of. Oh no, the other one is Hans. Fuck, this is actually gonna be really, really German, but Gruber.
Oh, that's
Gruber.
MacGruber.
He's currently, I think,
Wait
in
a
New
minute.
York.
Isn't
Hans
that
Gruber.
The,
Yeah,
isn't that's the guy for Die Hard?
Yeah, that's the
Wait, is
bad
it?
guy, Die Hard.
McLean.
Fuck, I can't even remember all of them.
Bobby, what's up, man?
Hey.
Welcome.
It's Hans Kim, Hans Group, I think it's
Hans Gruber,
Hans
that's
Freak,
awesome.
Hans Freakle, Hans Freakle. My bad,
okay.
my bad,
I
homie.
hope-
Hans
I just-
Freakle, he's in New York. Hans Kim, Hans Hilton, Hans Freakle. Gunlock, which I call him the ashamed Hans because he doesn't want to say where he's from. Then fuck, I forgot where the
God,
4th one
I've
is,
met-
and
I've
then
met
me.
one Hans in my life, and this Hans has met 5 Hanses. What the hell, man?
Whoa, Hans, we just attract each other.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell you. It's like everyone's like, who here is Hans? Okay, who here has suffered? Now there we go. There's all the Hanses.
Man, I have where I work. There's so many dudes named Chris and Sam and Mike. It's just
Mike.
Where the fuck is Chris from?
yeah. I don't know. It's still well. There's like
Christopher?
There's Christopher.
Yeah. Oh, Christopher. Oh,
There's
wait.
Christina.
Where? Like,
Crystal.
I think it's.
Chrissy.
I mean, it's probably also German because Christoph.
Chris-
wait. Wait.
Yeah.
It could it because like
Oh no, or
Is it- or is it Italian?
Norwegian. It's like
Norwegian or Italian? I don't know,
Christoph,
somewhere
you know?
in Europe.
Do you want to build a snowman?
God damn
Yeah.
it, that fucking song. I'm just.
Christopher isn't Christopher like one of the names in the Bible though?
I don't think so.
Saint,
But
oh, he's a saint, Saint Christopher.
Saint.
oh, there we go. Okay, that's.
We are the worst Christians of all time.
I'm not fucking.
Somebody spank us.
I guess
no.
I'm as
Hey,
Christian
we
as.
talked about Coco earlier, right?
Yes, we did.
So Coco, that is, would you say it represents Mexican culture, right?
Yeah, most.
Yeah,
like, to-
yeah, you got a little high there, huh? Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it doesn't. I haven't done any of that
Yeah.
stuff, and that'd
Yeah.
be typical Mexicans. But that's like,
Well-
like I would do that with my grandparents and my family at Mexico. Over here, if like I guess the better English you have, the less Coco you have in you.
I have a bone to pick with Disney, and that is when Coco came out, I was like, this is a cool movie. I love it. The guy's a musician. He's playing. He's going to the other side. Great movie. And then like a year later, Encanto comes out.
Oh,
and
that.
everyone talks about Encanto, and I'm like, why are we trying to get our Latinos to fight each other? Like, why couldn't we wait a couple years for Encanto to come out? Like,
Hey,
literally.
you think we fight each other? I say that's technically us being like, hey,
Because it's
awesome.
Colombian,
We're-
right? Is that right?
Yeah, I
Doris.
partially thought I was like, yes, finally,
Yeah.
Latinos. Eventually, we'll get more people, and then we'll say, fuck you to white
Yeah.
people.
So I don't know, man. I mean, or Disney could just keep going, huh? They could do like the Guatemalan Disney movie.
The
you know?
Venezuelan
Yeah.
movie, the Puerto Rican
Yeah.
movie. Actually, no, if we go Puerto Rican, we're gonna go right back into that circle.
Yeah, we can't do that. Yeah.
Like either Puerto Rican or Cuban has
You
to be the
know-
last bit of the circle where we're like, we're about to go back into America.
How about Chile? Would Easter Island?
Chile?
Would that be considered Spanish or not Spanish? But would it be considered Hispanic or? I mean, South America.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean that's still. Oh,
so Easter
but-
Island is such like that's a perfect setting for a
Yeah,
Disney movie.
totally.
You know, like imagine the statues, they come to life. But it's more Polynesian though, isn't it? Now that I
Yeah.
think about it, it's like a
I mean, it's not.
so
It's
you-
Polynesian.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, although it's not. I don't
It's
know
weird.
what it is.
It's
'cause
weird.
I'm pretty sure it's a dead.
Yeah,
it's like a dead society.
Yeah, it's
you
not.
know?
Yeah, it's not there anymore. But I'm a big
I-
fan of large statues, though.
We can tell.
Yes. You know, there's a troll in Seattle. very large.
Yeah, it's like northern or eastern Washington.
No, it's in Fremont.
Fremont.
Yeah,
Oh.
under a bridge.
Oh, I've been there like 3 times. I remember I saw that when I first came to Washington as a kid. I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know who the fuck built this shit, but I'm
Yeah.
just
White people. That's what.
that
That's how
that
you
explains.
know.
That
It's
explains.
a VW bug.
I really
right?
hope
You
that
know?
was somebody who was really into D&D. I
Oh.
really hope that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, they were like one of the originals. You know, they before any of the stuff, they would just write everything out on a notebook.
Wizards of the
you know?
Coast is here, who
Yeah.
owns D&D.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I used to work there.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, I was talking earlier with you about how Sacramento wasn't really known as like a rock place, you know, rock and roll music, and then later, you know, with Aftershock and stuff, Seattle used to be known as like a rock and roll kind of place, and now, what the hell is going on, guys? What?
Well,
Tech.
What
We're all
is-
tech.
I
That's
mean-
what comes
Col-
out of here.
Seattle, it like I watched a documentary about the Jackie Chan and lots of the Jet Li, Bruce Lee, a lot of martial arts,
So-
and how Bruce Lee would get into fights in Washington. And I'm like, really? I don't know where he would get into a fight nowadays, but I'm like, okay, I guess there has been a change.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I mean, you could fight with some meth addict or some dude that's looking for coke or some shit. I don't know.
You know, if Bruce Lee was around today, they would make some great movies where it's like Bruce Lee versus the homeless on 2nd Avenue. You know, like, it's like, you know, he was just, I don't know. My mom was way into Bruce Lee when we were younger. We had all these VHS. I don't know why. My mom. Whenever,
hey,
I think
he
my
was-
mom hasn't dated a guy. It's a whole nother story. Hasn't dated a guy for like 30 years or something like that. But when I was a kid, whatever guy she would date, she would be into whatever he was into. So like she dated one guy that loved tigers. So all of a sudden we had all these like tigers on our wall, like posters and plates. And then another
Oh.
guy was way into Native American stuff. So then we had all this Native American stuff on our wall. And
I've
then,
seen that a lot.
Yeah.
Where people
I
just
think
take
that
on the.
is it
the-
just white people? 'Cause,
Yeah.
they
I'm
just take
pretty sure
what-
it's just
yeah,
y'all.
like they'll take on the likes
I'll take
and
it right
dislikes
there. I
of the
appreciate you.
person they're with. But I mean that happens.
Thank you.
Even like me and Sydney. Sydney's very. My fiance, I should say, is very.
Yeah, don't get any ideas.
No, I'm just saying she's like very like strong-willed and has her opinions on everything. But even
Yes.
her and I have like there's things that like I didn't like that I like now because she likes them.
Yes.
You know, like it definitely happens. It definitely happens.
Well, I don't know. What time is it? I don't even know. What's going on here?
It's about
8:11.
Hey,
8:11.
nice. I was gonna say 8:10.
All right. Well, Ryan's like, I'll be here around 7:30. So we'll just keep going for a little while longer. I don't want to like go until 9 o'clock and then rush to get this stuff done. So we have a few more minutes. Let's talk about some stuff. Oh yeah, I was talking about Tacoma a little bit. Did you do the comedy voice?
No. I
Oh,
just
yeah,
went
yeah,
just to support.
You just watch. You do the mic though sometimes, right?
Oh no, I've actually funny thing about that is I actually started there.
Really?
That was my first time ever doing comedy.
When was this?
About 3 years ago. Almost.
3 years. And you're a comedy fan. I've seen your Instagram and stuff. You went out. You saw Chris Rock one time.
Yeah, no, I've seen.
You see a lot of live comedy, which is, I think,
I just
detrimental to a lot of these other guys that are not participating. They just, oh my God, Mike Heath! Holy cow! Look at this. It's a who's who. It's a who's who, Geoff, of everybody here tonight. So yeah,
Wow.
you were into comedy, right? You some of the comedians, you're big fans of them. I always like to ask people, you know, it seems like pandemic is kind of the time when a lot of guys and girls got started, but what about you, man? What prompted it? What got you into it? What
no.
made you want to step up and be like, I think I'm just going to try and make people laugh?
I've been wanting to do this since I was a child.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's
Child. So talk about
the
what's in Mexico. You're thinking about funny.
Polo Polo.
Pol-
all these names that
To-
I would just be spouting out.
to-
These two have no idea, but they're technically legends about. Think
Pollo
of it.
Pollo is what it's
Polo Polo is like the Robin Williams of Mexico.
Okay.
He's a big guy. Lots of people are like, oh, he sold my shit, but they're just people who are basically just really jealous of that. He had a lot of success. There's a lot of Mexican comedians that I started off watching because first it was my family. I was like, these guys are funny. And then I realized where they're getting their material from. And I'm like, oh, shit, these guys are really funny. But they're doing comedy that I don't think I could do because that takes a fuck ton of imagination where they're just inventing scenarios where they're like, oh, God, talking to a chicken or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I started off with the Spanish one. Then I got introduced to Gabriel Iglesias. Well, first George Lopez, then Gabriel Iglesias.
Fluffy?
Correct. Then a bunch of guys, and I was like, I find this nice.
Hopefully not Carlos Mencia, because
Funny thing about that is, yes, I enjoyed his stuff before I realized, he's
he's a joke thief. Yeah. But
yeah, it's
I even get that.
Well, I had a friend who his girlfriend does comedy in North Carolina. Hope everything's good over there. She's posted some stuff. There's, they got hurricanes going on right now. But he apparently played pool with Carlos Mencia, and he said he was a nice guy. Probably a nice guy. Just wouldn't want to do comedy with him. I've heard some bad stories, though. I've heard some stories about him saying some stuff to women and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's true, but it seems believable. But
I get that.
So as a kid, you're talking about
all these legends. Polo Polo,
Polo
Calle
Polo.
Tres. No, Calle Tres. That's a musician.
Polo Polo.
There's like Teo Gonzalez. He's known in Mexico as Cola de Caballo, tail of a horse, because his hair like a little loopy. There's a bunch of other comedians that I can't recall their names.
I love how deep cut we're getting in this because I'm a fan of Cheech Marin.
Wait, Cheech Marin?
Cheech Marin.
Yeah.
And he's way into Mexican culture. He actually has the biggest collection of Mexican art in the world, personal collection.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I'm too broke for that.
Yeah. But yeah, you're supporting. Supporting Mexican comedy.
I've liked comedy
Hispanic
for a
comedy.
long time, and I thought I started writing shit because I thought about a lot of things when I was younger. Like I made a podcast when I was like 10 or 12 when my dad gave me his phone. He's like, here you go. And I was like, it has a recording feature. Let me just be and just creating a bunch of audio casts, which I cannot find for the life of me anymore. I think they're just destroyed. But just wanting to write comedy, and then I realized I was like, I can do this, and never having the balls to do it until after the pandemic once I turned 25, and I'm like, fuck it. There's no point of stopping now. I survived out of everybody else. Might as well do this. Which I guess is the reason why a lot of people started doing comedy after the pandemic, because we're like, we lived. Holy shit. Death is that close.
Yeah.
So
and you said the same thing with karaoke after that. Like, people started coming out.
Oh, like karaoke blew up. I think anything that is
gathering, like a gathering.
A gathering and like a destination is just like, it's a big deal. Music did the same thing. That like concerts are huge. Yeah,
it's the ballsiness, not even ballsiness. It's just the general realization that we could die. Yeah. Holy shit, we need to do things that we want to do and don't know we can. Fuck it, just do it, because tomorrow isn't a promise.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I know,
that's
right?
So beautiful. Let me tell you something else. Here's another beautiful thing about Hans here.
Oh, look at that.
One of my third or fourth time I ever went on stage, I went to this place called Joe's.
Oh, yeah,
down
Joe's.
in Seattle. I think I saw him I went to Shanghai for the first time, and then I went to Joe's after that. So I saw him.
You went all the way to Shanghai?
No. Yeah, all the way to the Shanghai room.
That's a bit of a distance.
Yeah. And very nice. He was very nice to me, and just met him. I had partaked in a joint with Nick Cody and Danny Trevor John, and also drank some beer, and I was not smoking, so like I was really fucked up.
Yeah, it hit you hard.
And when I went on stage, I forgot half of my stuff. Well, we didn't even have a stage. It was just a floor with like a microphone. And the only thing I remember was I said to this guy, I said, Hans, so handsome. And all of a sudden, he just lost it. He just started dying. He was just like, can't believe anybody would even say anything about me.
I mean,
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, this guy's so handsome," and I'm like, and I'm still single.
Yeah. Not by choice. No. Yes. And then I
By
made
force.
And then I made a very inappropriate joke about him and Ben Whittle, who's another comedian who hasn't been out here yet. But I said to him, I said, dude, I don't go anywhere that you go because I want to be the most handsome person in the room. And so that's an ongoing joke we have. Well, guys, I don't think Ryan's going to show up. And if he does, he's missing the
He's
podcast.
probably gonna show
But
up like
it's-
right on point.
It's okay. You Can Laugh is his brand, Rolling Blunder Comedy. He does these
nice.
shows. He does a lot of comedy shows for disabled people. Casey's been on one. I don't know what Casey's disability is, but I believe he has one. Dude, well, you got anything coming up? Anything you want to promote?
I mean,
shows.
follow La Santa Comedy Productions.
We're going to
That's
put that on the screen because some of my relatives will not be able to spell that out.
fair.
So-
I mean, just spell La as in L-A, and then Santa as in Santa Claus, and just keep Santa. And then after that, kill everything else. Done right there.
There you go.
Couldn't be simpler. And I mean, that's gonna be the only recent thing that I'm gonna have, because I'm gonna try to do some Latino, Spanish stuff. Not just
But-
Latino, but if you can't speak Spanish, come. You might need to use Google Translate.
And Hans, you'll see him bounce around. He goes everywhere. You might see him at
I
the
run
Shanghai Room. You
Every
might-
time I see
you
flashing
might
lights,
see
I
him at
just
Club
run.
Comedy. You might see him at Comedy/Bar. You might see him at
I
the
go everywhere.
907. You might see him at a
So long as y'all
nice-
don't kick me out,
you
I'll
might
be
see
there.
him supporting good Hispanic businesses and helping
Buy
Hispanic
tacos.
helping Hispanic comedians that can't speak English.
Well, we can. It's just their level isn't as good
They
as
don't-
moi,
and they
but
don't need to. No, all right.
exactly.
There's
Y'all
room-
need to learn some Spanish,
There's room
motherfuckers.
for everybody on the table.
Pequeño.
Poquito.
Jeff, I heard, and I don't know if it's been announced, was there some big Karaoke Idols announcement that's supposed to happen or happen really?
Even though I am part of the,
The team.
the team, I actually don't know what it is.
All right. So stay tuned for that.
The biggest thing I've got going on is Whiskey Mile Karaoke, though. So
Yes. Oh, dude, one more thing. Russian karaoke. What? Dude,
Oh, my
okay,
God,
I don't know if
man.
you see out there the railing is broken.
They
Apparently, it happened at Russian karaoke
yeah, they
night.
just break stuff, man.
The Russians
They
just
break
don't know
stuff.
how to handle
no,
themselves.
they spend
much
a lot
power.
of money. They have a lot of fun here.
Yeah.
Russian music is pretty interesting, and that happens once a month. So if somebody wants,
Yeah, once a month.
if you want to come out and experience the joys of,
It's actually really fun.
I came out one time. It was insane.
Join the Russians.
It was insane.
It's
yes.
it's like just straight dancing after midnight. It's real fun.
And not only that, they do Russian comedy nights here every once in a while, and the Whiskey Mile has actual comedians from Russia that perform here.
Look at
So that's a
that.
good
Yeah.
thing too. We had people show up for the emo show, my show that I put on, wanting the Russian, and it's like, sorry, man, can't help you out there, but.
I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe crowds could intertwine.
And me, no, I don't know. I got nothing to promote. I mean.
Promote that ass.
Promote that ass, yes. I mean, I am on the Comedy Voice. I'm either going to perform next Tuesday or the Tuesday after. Going to feature at Tony V's
There you
a
go.
week from Monday. And I have a show on 12/12/24 in Tacoma, the Gory Giggles show.
Oh,
that'll be the
hit it.
2-year anniversary of my first day on stage, first time on
Nice.
stage. So
Look at that.
I got all that stuff. And we do Sam's Open Mic here every Thursday at the Whiskey Mile. You can follow it at Sam's Open Mic Comedy. And it's fun. We like to have fun here. It's
We
good
like
stuff.
to have fun.
We do features. Sometimes people come out, people from out of town. I have one person from LA and another person from Vegas messaged me today, and they're going to be performing tonight.
I brought the.
And then we also
I let
have
them know that
Robbie,
we were
who's
at
from
this.
another planet. He's also here. So, we're representing all the cultures tonight.
Look at that.
Dude, it's been an hour and a half.
Yay!
Wow,
Love it.
it's been crazy.
Look at that.
And
Time
this,
flies
and
by.
I actually did 3 podcasts 3 weeks in a row. So,
Look at you.
hey,
A material.
comedy grind. Let's do it. All right.
We just like to talk.
One last thing. This will be fun. You might. This might be good. Definitely good for you. I don't know if you'll know this, but
Okay.
last time I asked if you can be any comic that you know for Halloween, who would it be?
Wait, that I know?
Yeah, somebody in Seattle or Tacoma. If you could dress up like them, act like them for Halloween.
Shit.
You could do this too. I just don't know how many people you know their names.
I mean,
mean-
I would just.
Technically, the easiest one for me would be Michael Aguilera. I just gotta grow up my beard.
you just gotta gain a lot, of weight.
Well, I mean the beard mostly.
You give him like a pillow there or something. He's gonna hate that.
Hey,
but you know what? He
I
calls
said the
himself-
beard.
He calls himself Big Mike. All
I
right?
think the answer is clear for me. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna be me for Halloween? Yeah, that would be. You could do it. You know, the best thing is I never shave my beard, so you just have to trim it like really
yeah,
short.
just trim it.
No mustache. And then I guess for me, who should I be? I mean, it would be funny to be Adam Tiller. I could just shave my head, shave my beard, put on a tracksuit, a green tracksuit, or J Marks. That'd be another one. You know, get a wig. Start do a bunch of push-ups before every gig. Some glasses. I don't know. These guys are gonna hate me for that. I don't know. This podcast is just falling apart, guys. We're gonna do one more before Halloween. I don't think we're gonna do a Halloween mic here, even though it is on a Thursday. But come to the Whiskey Mile on Halloween. I'm sure Jeff's gonna be here. They're gonna be doing.
I'm not sure what we're doing, but it'll be something.
It'll be something.
It'll be something.
And that's it. So we're gonna end it.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for sitting down.
Rising up in the comedy scene, he's a force to be reckoned. Comedy Simp, the podcast you can't resist. Stephen Michael James, the host you won't wanna miss. From Seattle to the world, his humor will persist. Join the fun, get ready to enlist. Spitting fire.